What's up, guys? Welcome to part one of my interview with Journey Appliance. We're just going to have an easy conversation about how to get started in the washer and dryer business, delivery, parts, different problems we're running into, where we're getting parts from, a little bit of everything. If you like these kind of videos, please like, subscribe, and this is my first one, so I'm sure we'll get a whole lot better at this interview thing, but just any suggestions, put them down below. And also check out his channel, Journey Appliance, and I'll link them down below. So how's it going, man? Getting good and started in the washer and dryer thing?
Yeah, man. I'm doing. Just went and looked at my warehouse today again and told them what I needed and everything. So yeah, we'll be getting started with that soon. Probably maybe about half a month here, maybe 15, 16 days or something like that. I'll be moving over in there.
You'll be just in time for catching up for busy season. So as soon as the tax returns start coming in, you won't be able to keep up. At least where I am here, that's always the case. I can never keep up
I
when
can't
tax
even.
returns come in.
Yeah, I can't even keep up now. I literally get people calling me like every day, like, "Oh, do you have any washers and dryers? Oh, let me know when you get some in." And they'll call me, "Did you get any?" It's like, "No, sorry."
Yeah, that's a problem. It becomes less of a problem after a little while. Like right now, I have the exact opposite problem. I just have no time to work on anything, and I have a million washers and dryers outside that have been just piling up and scrappers bringing them. How are you
Oh,
getting most of your inventory? Are you getting scrappers, or how you pick it? Are you picking
yeah.
up?
I had two scrappers that were bringing me stuff consistently, but they kind of just disappeared. Yeah, they disappeared on me. Haven't been bringing me anything, so I've been going and picking up stuff on my own. But with adding in the appliance repair part of my business, going to people's houses, I haven't been able to keep up with that.
Yeah. So how do you do that? How are you charging for appliance repair at someone's house? How do you set up your pricing?
I charge $50 for diagnosis, and then if they want to go ahead with the repair, $25 labor, and then their parts, of course. It's $25 an hour, but usually a repair doesn't take more than an hour, and if it does, then I'm going to charge accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty similar to what I do. I don't like to do a lot of repairs. I'd rather refurb. But when I do repairs, I'm either, if I have a lot of time, I'll charge 50 to go do anything plus whatever the part is, or I'll charge 75 plus what the part is, depending on if I don't have much time. I'll make it worth my while to kind of go out for the day. But I don't go to anyone's house unless I feel like I have a 90% chance of fixing it. I have them take a picture of it and send it to me before. And if they can't describe what's wrong with the machine over the phone, I don't go. I give them a number of another guy that does it in town. Just because if they can't tell what's wrong with it, it's like I don't know what parts to bring. I'm not going to bring everything I have in my shop, but if they're telling me it's not spinning, I did a clutch yesterday. A guy told me, oh, I knew exactly what machine it was. It was a regular direct drive washer. He told me it's just not spinning the closeouts. I was like, ooh, I know what that is. And I went there with the clutch, popped it off, popped the new one on, $75. I charge them. I always charge $20 for clutches. You can get them in packs and get them a little bit cheaper than that, but like I'm not gonna. I'm always gonna charge what they would get it for, not what I buy my big packs for.
Yeah, I had that the other day. I don't know if I talked to you about it, but the spring issue. I think you showed me. Yeah, you sent me a video with the about the springs. Now the lady
Oh
told me
yeah,
that the lady told me it wasn't draining, and then I get there and it wasn't even like you'd start it, and as soon as it go to agitate, it would just be like boom boom, and then it would just like stop. And then
yeah.
when I would put it on the drain and spin, it would do the same thing, boom boom, and like it would like shake, and I'm like, what? It's like this isn't what I was expecting.
It's
That's
so common. Those
yeah.
pulse play machines, it's either going to be an actuator or it's going to be the suspension. Like that's 90% of what's wrong with them. So you can get suspension rods, the cheap ones for like 25 to $30. And I always keep like three sets in my shop. Like I'm always going through them. And actuators, there's a black one and a red one, and I keep two of both of those. And I'll keep them used, but I like to keep one set that I know is working and brand new. just for that reason,
Yeah.
because so many times you're just swapping the actuator out or swapping the suspension out.
Yeah. Well, you know my issues that I'm having because I'm constantly calling you or hitting you up on Facebook
You have the
like
worst luck with some of the stuff. You'll tell me what's wrong, and it's like, man, I see that so rarely. I know what you're talking about, but some of the problems are super rare.
yeah. It's like every time I get one of those like the Cabrio Whirlpool Cabrio the style with the 6 lights and then you can like 3 to the right and then 1 to the left and 1 back to the right to go in diagnostic mode. Those seem to be the ones that I get constantly, and every time I get one of those, it's like something like the one I had. I had it, got it going good, everything was great. Then it gets to the spin cycle, and it makes that loud like train noise, like sounds like a train going.
Oh,
That's a
like
gear
the
case.
bearings going out.
Yeah, the gear case. Because you'd
Yeah,
have to change the whole gear case because the bearings are inside there or something like that. Because I did some
yeah,
research on that one. And then the one
yes.
that we were working on the other day where he told me like the actuator, got a working actuator off of one of the other ones that I know for sure worked. And I changed out the uh what's it called? The capacitor on it. And had it working good, went through the cycle and everything. And then when like I kept because like I don't have a drain in my garage, so I just I put the drain water in buckets and I'll dump the buckets. And so I thought maybe like it was just spilling. And nope, I lift it up, look under there, and then it's leaking. I'm like, oh my god, like how can how can this be? Like so
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
wash
I've
your
done seals in those before, and they weren't terrible. A seal in a direct drive is really not bad at all. I believe those seals aren't horrible. It's been a little while since I've done a seal in those machines. It's really rare. On direct drives, they have those little plastic pieces that the machine sits on that will wear out. I forget what the name is, but they're super cheap. But I find when a direct drive shakes real bad, it will mess the seal up. So if it would usually have the symptom will be those little skids have worn out, but the skids being worn out have messed up because that shaft's come through the center and that rubber piece is around that and it's just wore a little hole where it's wore out and it'll start dripping around that hole. So a lot of times when you run into a direct drive that's shaking, you have a good chance that the seal's also on the edge of going out or have gone out, but they're super easy to change. That's kind of like everything with a direct drive. After you do it once, you kind of get the idea, and there's so many of them out there. They're
yeah.
easy to work on.
Well, so the direct drive, or is that the ones with the small belt on the bottom? It's
No,
kind of
no,
like
no. It's the Whirlpool version. It's always a pull out knob. Whenever whatever starts it will be a pull out knob usually. I know there's also one that came out a long time ago that was digital, but super rare. To recognize it, I'm trying to think if I have one. I think I sold my last direct drive the other day. It will definitely won't have the gray pause play button. So a pause play is what you're referring to. A whole lot. At least I always call them pause play. There'll be 6 lights in a row, and then there'll be a little gray pause play button. And those always have the little diagnostic thing. They're all the same, and they have the exact same problems. It's an actuator or it's suspension rods. It's like the same things going out all the time. Direct drive is, it's an all-in-one transmission. There's no belt. When you lean the machine back, it's got that big metal case on the bottom and a clutch and a coupler that always goes out on those machines.
I
But
don't think I've seen any of those yet.
oh man, well they're getting to be less and less because they stopped making them a couple years ago. So I used to see them constantly, but now it's all pause play. So
Uh,
I used to avoid pause play like it was the plague, and it's like, oh no, I don't need to get. I'll keep working on these, but there's so many now. And after you get used to working on pause play, it's just the same problems. I would say, just like I said before, it's 90% chance it's suspension or actuator, and then the other 10% is super rare problems like the water valves going out. That sometimes you'll look at the water valves themselves when you pull out. It's all one big piece, so you can't just change out one. But you'll see they're swollen a little bit, where the magnetic little piece will come back and swell and bust it, and it'll either be open or it'll be closed, and it'll just screw up the whole system. What will really screw up you on that is the rinse is cold. So you'll be convinced it's working when you have it on hot, and you're like, oh, I'll just run it on hot, and it'll be all right. But when it goes to get to rinse cycle, it will never rinse. It'll stop the machine after that, so it'll kind of screw it up. That's why when you test it, you always switch it over to cold, let it run for a little while, and switch it over to hot and let it run. Make sure both valves will open, and then you're good to test.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't even know that those had to open. I thought they just kind of stayed open. But now that I think about it, yeah, I guess they would have to close so that when you're going through like the spin or whatever, water doesn't get through. So yeah, that kind of makes sense. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And things that I'm still avoiding like the plague is front loaders. Front loaders are so heavy, for one thing. It's my big issue with them, and I'm by myself.
Yeah.
Then the problem is whatever's wrong with them is very expensive. So anything that's wrong could
Lots
be
of
very,
sensors.
very pricey. Yeah, lots of sensors. And then you got the whatever spider arm thing that goes out that just deteriorates. And like that's the note. When I get a front loader, the first thing I do is grab onto that edge and shake a little bit and feel if it feels like it's come loose. If that's come loose, game over. It's like just start parting that machine out. Just if you got the part for free, I wouldn't do it. It's so much labor involved. And then at the very end, it could be something else wrong too. Something got shaken loose.
Yeah.
Or you missed a little piece and it's stuck up in that drum. Yeah. It's just I just still avoid them. Now I'll still check them though, because sometimes it's just the filter's stopped up. So you pull that little tray out and there'll be something stopped up or something wrapped up around the pump itself, and it's like, oh, easy fix. You just pull that out and it's good to sell, and that's $350. So quick money real quick.
Yeah. only thing I hate about is like you said, they're really heavy. And
and deliveries are a nightmare. Like I hate to ask customers to help me, but like you get to a set of steps with those things, you can't do it by yourself.
I sold one, and this was a customer that I sold a washer to a couple weeks before, and something was wrong with the agitation cycle. It wasn't doing it right. I didn't realize it, and so he called me like 2 weeks later. He was like, "Yo, dude, like I need a washer. Like, can you just bring whatever you got? Like, I'll pay you whatever." So I sold him one of my front loaders, and it took me like an hour to get it on to my truck, and I had to go down and ask my mother-in-law to help me to put it on there. And then I get to the guy's house, and we're going down the steps of his basement, and the thing just freaking falls off of and falls down the steps of the basement. Now, luckily, we hooked it up, and it still worked. But I was telling the guy, like, look, man, like, if this one doesn't work, like, you're keeping this because, like, I'll give you your money back, but I'm not taking it back out of
here. Yeah. I've gotten to the point, if there's a step involved, I don't care if it's a dryer. If I'm delivering by myself, I'll take a strap tie and I'll go all the way around my dolly and hook onto the dolly. I've had more than one time a customer run out to help me get up a step, and they'll lift it off the lip of the dolly and it'll fall forward. And it's like you try not to, like, no, don't help me. And like it's happened more than once to me. And now it's just like pretty much when I get to a house and there's steps involved, first thing I do is grab a strap tie and strap it on in case they come over to help me. All right, guys, that's it for this first part of this interview. Please let me know down below what you thought of this. I'm still learning how to do these interviews. I'm going to break them up into easy, digestible pieces. But please subscribe. Any questions, put them down below, and we'll see y'all next time.